our qualifications, and I'll leave the details for a little bit later. But for now, let me just share my screen so I can give you a better insight of what I want to talk about while people are still coming in. All right. Well, thanks again, and I really hope that basically you will find this probably around 50 or to an hour of talk useful. I tried my best really to summarize various elements. I mean, I had lots of discussions around what should basically be the focus of this session and how should we basically design the content in a way that our teachers, learners, and partners find the content useful. So that's why basically we thought of splitting the sessions into two. The first one will talk about the overview of the qualifications and the support that we have. And the second one is related to the changes and the advancements that basically we're adding to the content and the design of these qualifications. Like Charla said, just a little bit of, I think this is probably the first time we talk. I met a lot of people. I saw some familiar names. I met a lot of people in various conferences, but this is the first time that we run a dedicated webinar to Pakistan. Hopefully this won't be the last, and I'm really looking forward to next week and also the future of supporting you further. Like Charla mentioned, my main area of specialization is educational inclusion and assessment. So as you can see from the content of these slides, one of the key areas that basically I want to show is how can we support our learners in terms of the design of the assessment, and in terms of the what we call measuring impact by design as part of the qualifications. And then obviously I have another hidden agenda, which is supporting or creating supporting the more diverse student body that we deliver our qualifications to, not basically through certain specific tools, but through creating more awareness and creating some better understanding of these challenges that face us as educators in the classroom. I basically specialize in a particular type of learning difficulties called dyslexia. And I spent many years of my life researching how basically we can solve or support learners that suffer from this type of learning difficulty. And obviously this was connected with my research interest around assessment and assessment design and the construct of assessments. So I ended up with a situation where I'm dealing with a tool that teachers use, or supporting with a toolkit, if you like, that teachers can apply and use in their classrooms. In this presentation, obviously, I will just simply start our conversations of moving forward of continuous dialogue. And if you have any specific questions or requests, please feel free to reach out. And like Charla said, the Q&A is the platform to ask your questions, and I'm sure there will be plenty of time for us to answer all of them. And I also attached my email here, so please feel free to reach out if you have any burning questions that we didn't have time to answer in this webinar. First of all, why are we doing these webinars? We're doing these webinars to support for three main reasons. The first one is to support our partners. In Pakistan, obviously, a big thanks goes to all the support that we received from our partners in Pakistan, in the country. PAC, TURF, Ma'arif, International Schools and Colleges through all the campuses, and Institute of Career Development. These are the two delivery partners, the two authorized centers that basically we currently have. I know I worked very closely with both. A special mention to Imran and his team for the support in getting this webinar over the line. And like I said, this would be this would be the first of a series of webinars with lots of new updates and more communication to support our teachers throughout their journey. But another important objective of this webinar is to provide some toolkits and solutions to our teachers in Pakistan, the teachers that are delivering our qualifications. and how basically we can enable them with the necessary tools for them to deliver these qualifications in the best way possible. And the final goal really is to, if we have students listening to us today, to equip them with some understanding of the possibilities and the opportunities that these qualifications hold for them as well. So our aim really is to support all our stakeholders, partners, teachers, and students, and most importantly, to enable our students to show these English capabilities that they developed to the world. The next webinar on Wednesday, I'll have a different approach. I will be looking at the design of the qualifications, whereas today I'm starting with a general overview. So what is the content that we'll be covering in the next hour or so? First of all, we will look at the rationale behind the design of these qualifications. We will look at our approach to assessment in general. And then we will look, then I'll give you an overview of how these qualifications work. We will look at the principles of their design, and then we'll look at the recognition, the global opportunities associated with them. And I think a lot of teachers today are eager to hear about what kind of support we offer and what kind of resources we can make available, and there are plenty. There are plenty of these resources. Obviously, it would be very useful for us to run a survey of how many of people listening to me today actually use these resources, but we will do that towards the end of this presentation. And I'll give, of course, some time for questions and answers. And I'll be more than happy, like I said, to answer questions even after the session. There will be plenty of ideas, and I think the key principle underpinning the design of these webinars really is to get closer to you guys, to listen to what you want exactly as much as you want to listen to us and what we offer. We are keen on listening to your thoughts and understanding your key challenges and how basically we can help solve them. I will start with the first idea. What is the rationale of our assessment design? How do we do it? What are the plans? And obviously, the changes that took place over the past probably 4 or 5 years are so unprecedented. I mean, after COVID, the change in the landscape, the change in the mentality, the change in the student body, in the nature of our students, the nature of our learners, their objectives. Obviously, the use of technology last year, or probably this year also as well, probably one of the most talked about themes is technology and AI, and how are we responding to all of this? From our perspective, excuse me, from our perspective, we always try to take a more comprehensive approach. Do we have what is really right for this particular context? We are not looking at the future as much as we're looking at the present. We need to make sure that what we're offering is giving us an opportunity to provide the right tools for our learners today, now, at this minute. And obviously, if you think about it, there are 3 key components that will basically complete our learning cycle, if you like. And that starts with the learning practices within the classroom, the approach to learning, and then that's associated with the teaching methods, and coupled with the assessment tools lead to creating knowledge. So technically, knowledge is simply a result of all these different activities combined. But what's the new addition in the past 2 years was really the integration of digital in each one of these different areas. Now we see integration for digital tools for learning. We see integration of digital tools in teaching. We see, of course, most importantly, a shift towards digital assessment. Is that basically going to be the trend in the future? It looks like it. There are plenty of things that basically we are trying to organize and prepare for our products to be born digital, to be ready for, in their design, to be fit for that particular element of integration between learning, teaching, and assessment. But I think in order to reach that stage, there are plenty of different goals that need to be achieved. And these goals are basically underpinned by standardization. And I think that the concern that we all have as educators, not just from a Cambridge perspective,